way to get out now, so he looks for anything he can use to defend the sanctity of his ass and finds an old gun laying on the ground. He picks it up just as the thugs break down the door, but as he points it at them, they think it is just a bluff since a gun from a place as old as this couldn't possibly work. In a crazy turn of events, the gun did work and Arajan manages to get a headshot. The only problem was that he headshot himself. Presuming Arajan to be dead and not wanting to get in trouble for this, the thugs lose interest and walk away, leaving Arajan to his fate. Instead of being dead though, Arajan wakes up some time later and barely remembers what just happened. But he definitely feels the bullet lodged in his skull, and after giving it a little rub, weird stuff begins to happen all over the room as a red tornado appears in the shrine and a buff genie comes out, offering to grant a wish for Arajan. A few awkward seconds pass of both of them just staring at each other, so the genie takes a closer look at Arajan and frankly, he looks like a wimp. Arajan was scared out of his mind, but he looks down and sees that the guy actually has no legs, so he must actually be a real Majin. Majin in this case is another way to write the word honky people, so this buff guy is a honky person. After that has been cleared up, the Majin reiterates his initial offer to grant a wish for Arajan. So after thinking about it, he doesn't want money or honor or power. What he wants is to lose his V card. The Majin is frozen for a second, but he understands why Arajan would make that wish, so if he really wants to, Majin will do it himself. Arajan obviously disagrees and tries to get Majin to go away, but there's no hope for that as the guy keeps following him around no matter what he does. And to make matters worse, no one else can see him, so Arajan just looks like a crazy person yelling into the air. Elsewhere, Madakura is busy with his workout while the other two Minato people are trying to ruin his image of Arajan. Hearing that Arajan ran away almost naked instead of fighting, Madakura isn't surprised because he knows all too well that Arajan is the gentle kind of person. So he generally avoids fighting, even though he could easily have beaten those guys up if he wanted to. The next day, Arajan is looking at his outfit in the mirror to get ready for his date with Mahoro when his mother comes in and realizes her baby boy is going on his first date. Arajan gets embarrassed and leaves immediately, but his mom yells out that there is no need to be embarrassed about it, and if he manages to get that far with her, he should remember to use protection. Arajan is waiting by the fountain for Mahoro to arrive, and he tells Majin not to speak at all because he can't have her thinking of him as crazy. Mahoro soon arrives and asks if he was talking to anyone just now, but he can't explain the situation, so he says he was just talking to himself. She accepts his explanation and they go off on their date and eat ice cream on a bench, but Mahoro seems to be looking around a lot. Arajan asks her about it, but she says it's nothing. But then Majin starts talking, so Arajan tells him to shut up, forgetting that it makes him look insane. And look at the face on Mahoro, that's a face of disgust right there. She tries to act like it doesn't bother her and goes back to licking her ice cream, and all Arajan can think about when he looks at her is how he would like her to lick something else. Mahoro tells him how happy she is that he transferred into their school, and this is the perfect time to confess the feelings he has for Mahoro. But before he can do that, his intestines need to be evacuated because he got nervous. After making it back from the toilet, Arajan tries to continue the confession and presents Mahoro with a personalized stone which he carved her name into, but there's that look of disgust again. He tells her that the stone is a symbol of his affection for her, and is about to confess his love, but suddenly car horns are heard blaring and start circling the fountain as the head of the Sigma squad pulls up. He doesn't have any real business with Arajan, so when Arajan asks who he is, he calmly tells him he is Marito. Arajan hears that Marito is the leader of the Sigma squad, so he is ready to leave and grabs Mahoro's hand. Marito clearly doesn't like this, and it seems like this was Mahoro's plan all along as she starts fawning over Arajan to get a rise out of Marito. Arajan is loving the attention he is getting, but Marito is enraged by the sight of a guy getting lovey-dovey with his sister. From a nearby rooftop, the guy who has been plotting against Arajan is watching as he is getting into a fight with Marito. Just then, Madakura comes up onto the roof and sees what's going on with Arajan, and he can already tell that this is going to be bad, so he rushes down to get to the scene. Meanwhile, Arajan is getting the shit kicked out of him by Marito, and is knocked onto the ground where Marito continues to kick his head in, and Arajan is sure that Marito might end up killing him at some point. Mahoro is in the back, absolutely geeking out over how cool her brother looks while beating Arajan up. This is the 31st guy she has done this to, so the other Sigma members kind of feel sorry for him. Majin watches on from a distance and thinks Arajan won't be a suitable person after all, since even if he were to combine with him now, he doesn't have it in him to do what it takes. However, while he is still getting his guts kicked in, Arajin tells Majin that he doesn't intend to die here today, even as Marito is about to deliver a sweet spin kick to his head. Majin likes that attitude and yells for Arajin to state his wish. Arajin pulls himself up and states that his one wish is to lose his V card, so he combines with Majin and is able to block that kick with ease. Marito is left stunned as the combined Arajin and Majin deliver a punch that sends him flying across the park and crashing into a wall. Madakara had arrived just in time to witness the awesome display of power from Arajin, and as soon as Marito got knocked down once, the entire Sigma squad immediately ran to his side to make sure he was alright. Meanwhile, Madakara is completely awestruck by the sheer awesomeness he just witnessed from Arajin because it was exactly like a honky person, but Arajin is just confused out here. Majin comes up and starts yelling at him over his dumb wish to lose his V card, and yes, Majin did tell him to state his wish, but given the situation, he was expecting a wish more along the lines of "I want to become more powerful." While everyone is standing over Marito's body, he gets up and it becomes clear that the punch Arajin gave him has left a lasting impression and gotten him a little excited. Marito runs towards Arajin while he is still arguing with Majin and delivers a kick that knocks him high into the sky. Arajin then lands in the river, prompting Madakara to dive in after him to save his life. The cops start to show up.